Welcome to the English Explorers YouTube channel. Have you faced problems and challenges in learning English? If so, you're not alone. Why not watch Jake's incredible journey of learning English? Discover how he overcame obstacles and solved problems to significantly improve his English skills. Let's dive into Jake's inspiring story and see how you too can conquer your English learning challenges.
Jake is a young man with a good sense of humor. He enjoys making his friends laugh and is always up for a new challenge. One day, Jake decides he wants to learn English. He thinks it will open up new opportunities for him. He imagines traveling the world, making new friends, and watching movies without subtitles. But Jake quickly realizes that learning a new language is not as easy as he thought. He faces several problems along the way. However, Jake is determined to overcome these challenges. This is Jake's journey to learning English. Firstly, Jake loves watching movies, especially action films. But there's a problem. He does not understand all the words. When he watches his favorite superhero movies, he often gets lost in the dialogue. "I don't know these words," he says to himself. Jake feels frustrated. He wants to enjoy the movies fully, but the difficult vocabulary makes it hard. One day, Jake's friend Anna gives him a suggestion. "Why don't you write down the new words you hear?" she says. Jake thinks this is a good idea. He buys a small notebook. Every time he hears a new word, he writes it down. He also writes the meaning of the word next to it. Jake starts reading his notebook every day. Slowly, he learns many new words. Now, when he watches movies, he understands much more. Jake feels proud and happy. His notebook becomes his new best friend. Jake enjoys learning new words, but he is still shy about speaking English. He is afraid of making mistakes. He thinks, "What if people laugh at me?" Jake remembers a time when he tried to speak English at a party. He made some mistakes, and some people giggled. This memory makes him nervous. Jake says to himself, "My English is not good." Jake's friend Tom notices Jake's struggle. Tom suggests, "Why don't you join our English club? We practice speaking English together. It's fun and no one laughs at mistakes." Jake decides to give it a try. He goes to the club and meets new friends. They practice speaking English through games and fun activities. They play word games, act out scenes, and even sing songs in English. Jake feels more comfortable and starts speaking more. His new friends encourage him and never laugh at his mistakes. With time, Jake feels more confident. He speaks English more fluently now. Jake is happy to have found such a supportive group. Jake finds another challenge: listening. He tries to listen to English songs and news, but he cannot understand everything. Jake thinks they speak too fast. He feels overwhelmed and often gives up. Listening to fast English makes him feel like he will never be able to understand. Jake talks to his English teacher about his problem. His teacher suggests starting with slower English materials. Jake finds podcasts and videos made for English learners. These are spoken slowly and clearly. He listens to them every day. At first, it is still difficult, but Jake keeps trying. Slowly, he starts to understand more and more. He begins to recognize words and phrases. Jake even starts to enjoy listening to English songs. He looks up the lyrics and sings along. This makes listening practice more fun. Jake feels excited when he understands a whole song. Then, his listening skills improve a lot. Jake has learned many new words and improved his speaking and listening skills. But there is still one big problem: grammar. Jake's grammar is not good. He often makes mistakes when he speaks and writes. Jake complains, "I never get it right." He feels frustrated when he cannot express himself correctly. Jake decides to focus on improving his grammar. He buys some grammar books and finds websites with grammar exercises. Every day, he spends a little time practicing grammar. At first, it is boring and difficult. But Jake is determined. He sets small goals for himself and celebrates when he reaches them. Slowly, he starts to make fewer mistakes. His sentences become clearer and more correct. Jake's teacher notices his improvement and praises him. This makes Jake feel proud and motivated to keep practicing. Then, his writing and speaking improve a lot. After a few months, Jake starts to feel tired. Learning English is hard work, and he sometimes feels like giving up. He thinks it's too difficult. Jake finds it hard to stay motivated. Jake talks to his friend Anna again. She suggests setting small, achievable goals. She says don't try to learn everything at once. Jake decides to follow her advice. He sets weekly goals, like learning 10 new words or watching a movie in English. Each time he reaches a goal, he rewards himself with something small, like a treat or a break, to play his favorite video games. These small rewards help Jake stay motivated. He finds that learning English becomes more enjoyable. With each small success, Jake feels more confident and excited to keep learning. Jake also struggles with finding time to study. He is busy with work and other activities. Jake thinks I don't have time to study every day. Jake's teacher suggests incorporating English into his daily routine. He says you don't need to set aside a lot of time. Just find small moments throughout your day. Then, Jake decides to try this. He listens to English podcasts. While walking to work, he reads short articles. During his lunch break, in the evening, he watches a short English video before bed. These small changes make a big difference. Jake finds that he can practice English every day without feeling overwhelmed. He makes steady progress and feels more comfortable with the language. Jake has come a long way since he started learning English. He faced many challenges, but he found ways to overcome them. He learned new words, improved his speaking, became better at listening, and mastered grammar. Jake also found ways to stay motivated and make time for studying. He knows he is not perfect, but he is much better than before. Jake's journey shows that with hard work, determination, and support, anyone can learn English. It might be difficult at times, but it is also fun and rewarding. Jake hopes his story will inspire others to start their own journey of learning English. He knows that, with patience and persistence, anyone can succeed. So, Jake keeps learning and growing, always ready for the next adventure. This is Jake's story, and it is just the beginning. Good luck on your own journey to learn English.
After learning about Jake's journey to learning English, why not try learning some essential vocabulary for daily conversation? Let's start with some simple examples. Challenge: a task or situation that tests someone's abilities. Example: learning a new language is a big challenge, but Jake is ready to face it. Opportunity: a chance for advancement or progress. Example: Jake sees learning English as an opportunity to travel the world. Travel: to go from one place to another, typically over a distance. Example: Jake wants to travel to different countries and make new friends. Friends: people whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection. Example: Jake loves making his friends laugh with his jokes. Movies, films or motion pictures. Example: Jake enjoys watching action movies in his free time. Vocabulary: the body of words used in a particular language. Example: Jake keeps a notebook to write down new vocabulary words he learns. Dialogue: a conversation between two or more people. Example: Jake often gets lost in the dialogue when watching superhero movies. Frustrated: feeling annoyed or less confident because you cannot achieve something. Example: Jake feels frustrated when he doesn't understand the words in the movies. Notebook: a small book with blank or raw pages for writing notes. Example: Jake carries a notebook to jot down new English words and their meanings. Learn. To acquire knowledge or skill through study or experience. Example: Jake is determined to learn English despite the difficulties he faces. Proud. Feeling deep pleasure or satisfaction as a result of one's achievements. Example: Jake feels proud when he understands a whole movie without subtitles. Happy. Feeling or showing pleasure or contentment. Example: Jake is happy when he learns new English words and uses them correctly. Speaking. The action of conveying information or expressing one's thoughts and feelings in spoken language. Example: Jake practices speaking English with his friends at the club. Mistakes. Actions or judgments that are misguided or wrong. Example: Jake tries not to get discouraged by his mistakes when he speaks English. Nervous. Easily agitated or alarmed, anxious. Example: Jake feels nervous when he speaks English in front of a group. Club. An association dedicated to a particular interest or activity. Example: Jake joins an English club to practice speaking and meet new friends. Games. Activities that one engages in for amusement. Example: At the club, they play word games to make learning English fun. Songs. Short pieces of music with words that are sung. Example: Jake enjoys listening to English songs and singing along to practice his pronunciation. Confident. Feeling or showing certainty about something. Example: After joining the club, Jake feels more confident in his English speaking abilities. Listening. Giving one's attention to sound. Example: Jake improves his listening skills by watching English videos and listening to podcasts. Understand. To grasp the meaning of something. Example: Jake feels excited when he starts to understand English songs and their lyrics. Teacher. A person who helps others to acquire knowledge, competences, or values. Example: Jake's English teacher gives him helpful advice on improving his listening skills. Podcasts. Digital audio files made available on the internet for downloading, often part of a themed series. Example: Jake listens to English podcasts for learners to improve his understanding of the language. Grammar. The set of structural rules governing the composition of clauses, phrases, and words in a language. Example: Jake studies grammar books and practices exercises to improve his sentence structure. Exercises. Activities carried out for a specific purpose, typically to improve a skill. Example: Jake completes grammar exercises every day to make fewer mistakes. Goals. The object of a person's ambition or effort. An aim or desired result. Example: Jake sets weekly goals, like learning 10 new words or watching a movie in English. Motivated. Provided with a reason to act in a certain way. Example: Small rewards help Jake stay motivated to continue learning English. Routine. A sequence of actions regularly followed. A fixed program. Example: Jake incorporates English into his daily routine by listening to podcasts while walking to work. Practice. The repeated exercise of an activity or skill to acquire or maintain proficiency in it. Example: Jake practices speaking English every day to become more fluent. Success. The accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Example: Jake feels a sense of success when he can watch a movie in English without needing subtitles.
Thank you for joining us on Jake's inspiring journey to mastering English. If you found this story helpful and want to see more content that supports your language learning adventure, consider becoming part of our community. Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss out on our latest videos filled with tips, stories, and resources to help you succeed. Let's continue this journey together. Until next time, keep learning and exploring new opportunities.